Welcome, motherfuckers, to the 47th episode of the Global Exclusive Podcast. Again, I'm really trying hard to get Muspel to be alone with me on an episode, because I kind of want to do this proposal thing where I'm checking if he wants to do anal, but...
I've never been happier the Dream is here, and with that, let's move on and start the episode.
But Dream is here.
I'm not sure whether I'm glad to be here or not.
Don't leave me alone with him.
Like, why did you have to join? I mean, like you had to miss all the other episodes where some other fucker was bothering me, and now you have to
So the first unit this week is Setzer.
Oh, we're starting with Setzer? Cool.
Sure,
okay.
let's start with Setzer.
Let's start with Setzer. The unit that...
Work from
I don't
the
know.
bottom up.
The Hearthstone devs designed. It's very fun and
Just think
interactive.
about Setzer. Did you ever feel like Ace's STMR was too good?
No. Wait, which Ace? Which Ace?
The original one.
Neither of them.
The original Ace. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
Did you ever
mean,
feel like his STMR should be worse and have a less relevant stat on it?
listen, that's a great question, because I remember getting my first Ace STMR, and I'm thinking, there will be a unit in the future where this will be so fucking OP for. Just you wait. And I was really happy to have gotten it. Well, we all know what happened, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what are you trying to say? Is it good on Setzer?
No, Setzer's STMR is Ace's STMR except with Spirit instead of Magic. Oh, and it also has
wouldn't
Guts.
that be really good for Yoshi?
I was going to say for all those spirit-based throwing weapon users, and then I realized that's literally Yoshi.
Yeah, it actually has more damage than or it has more spirit than Yoshi's Shuriken, and it also has guts. So hey,
The Guts is not good. I mean, look at it. 15%
Oh, wait.
chance.
hey, listen, you just have to reset like 7 times on average, and all is good.
It can happen 7 times per fight, so just imagine how much fun you'll have with that.
Yeah. Well, 7 is also very much a theme in his kit, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if there's...
Unfortunately.
Why is 7 a
bad.
lucky number?
He's bad.
Really?
I just want to start off with that. Setzer is bad. He's completely useless. But he's useless and bad in interesting ways, so we can complain about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you ever felt that you want to spice up FFBE a bit, and do some weird shit, well, you can bring Setzer, and literally every move you do is random.
Yeah, he can buff enemy attack and magic, which will make the boss probably deal, 6 or 7 times more damage to you, typically.
You can die faster and then swap out sets or even earlier.
Yeah, it's like Escape, but even more efficient, but random.
Yeah. Well, he can also do some very serious fixed damage. So, serious question. The amount of fixed damage he can do for his highest roll of Gamble Slots. So, Gamble Slots is an ability that does a random amount of fixed damage. It can do 777, 10 times more, 100 times more, and then it, for some weird reason, does 1,000,000, or 1,000,000 minus 1. So, does that, would that one-shot early trials or something like that? Could you do some funny shit with it?
Very early trials, maybe, but...
Yeah, I don't know, like maybe there are trials with 1,000,000 HP, I don't know.
I mean, even in early Chamber of Arms, those bosses were squishy. We were seeing 13 million health.
Okay, too bad.
You can use killers and stuff on it, so it's not just 1,000,000 damage, but it's still bad.
I mean, to just kind of say something of a salvation with him, if you got him, he does have an area effect, so you can kind of do these shenanigans where you cancel a boss's area effect with his. I guess there's that.
Yeah,
that is the one reason you might bring him to a fight.
Yeah, if you don't have Terra, you might want him on Demon Chimera, but honestly, I would just bring a friend Terra.
But
Depends
I'm thinking...
when it releases as well.
Wait, but his area effect is increased defense spirit, right? So,
Yes.
does that stack with normal buffs?
Yes.
Or?
Yes, it does.
The problem is that it doesn't have full uptime. Do you really want to bring a unit just for a defense and spirit buff that doesn't last the whole time?
Yeah. And I don't know. Would this be... it's okay. It's 150% more of base stats. It's not bad, right? I mean, it could save your tank. If you don't have Phasey and your Charlotte is dying, this could be the thing that saves you.
It'll help
Maybe.
some.
I mean-
Tanks don't really benefit that much from defense and spirit buffs because they already have so much to begin with. It's more noticeable
Yeah.
on damage dealers.
Yeah.
I mean,
true,
it's not
true.
that it does nothing for them, but you're
I
probably
mean,
looking at
they get a high amount still, but yeah, nah.
you're probably
I mean,
getting
I'm
like
really
10 to 20% more effective health, which is,
I mean, I'm really stretching it. I really am. Like, I am stretching
I
it
think
more than
it-
Goatsy
it's-
did.
He's been given too much time already.
Yeah. So, okay, but I do have a serious question. Why is 7, considered a gambling number? Isn't? Like, am I missing something?
a lot of slot machines have like 7, like triple sevens as like the jackpot
Yeah, I
row
know,
or
but
something.
why?
Yeah, but it's where did that come from?
Yeah, 'cause,
7
like-
is a lucky number.
But why?
But why?
Because, like, okay,
don't
I'm
know.
thinking like this. Okay, first of all, you have a die. The standard die is a D6. That's a 6-sided die for all you non-nerds. So, like, but that goes up to 6, right? So why would is that it? Like, that 7 is one more than 6, or
I think it might have to do with like the number of days in a week or something. Maybe it came from
Like-
that. I don't know.
it's not even the first prime. I don't even know, like, why it's. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's
Might
Google
be
this.
something to do. I've just been doing that, and apparently it might be something to do with the whole like God creating the world in 7 days.
Ooh, okay. No, yeah, I can see a religious.
It also
connection.
shows
Okay.
up in a lot of other mythologies. Like in China, they have 7 elements: water, fire, earth, wood, metal.
Wait, hold
yin
on,
and
hold
yang.
on. So this is a mythical number, like the golden mean type of shit. Because, like, okay, I mean, God created Earth in 7 days, right? But whoever wrote the fucking Bible came up with the number 7, right? So why did he pull that out of his butthole? Like, this
Chance.
is, we are onto something here. Interesting.
This is the content that people tune into the podcast for.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm definitely sure that not like 50% have already dropped out of the episode wondering what the fuck is going on. But hey,
Who do we want to talk about next? Sabin?
Sabin, bro.
I mean, I think we're working from the bottom up, so yeah, that he would be next.
I mean, okay, it's a bit mean call it. Well, okay, compared to the other units, okay,
Yeah,
I see where
he's
you're going.
He's
Yeah.
definitely the worst of the 3 NV and NVA
Yeah.
units.
Yeah, he is. He's also really weird. Like, have we ever seen a unit change role as they get an NVA? That's a bit
Yeah,
interesting.
I kind of
Yes.
forgot what he was doing. It's like,
What do you
it's
mean,
like
yes?
physical attacker. What's that? I am now a tank and a mage.
Yeah, like he threw away his the only role he had, and became 2 other roles. So wait, you said yes, Muspel. What other unit did change roles as an NVA?
Foltra became a healer.
I mean, Foltra could kind of heal already.
Let's see, who else?
Yeah, it wasn't a complete change.
It's like she just got better at it.
Red
don't think
13
anyone-
became a finisher.
Yeah, but okay, but that's still physical damage dealer. That's
Yeah,
like
chain
I mean,
finisher. I don't think really counts.
dude literally went from physical LB chainer to mage and tank. Like, nothing in common with his kit, really. Oh, I mean, other than the ability names. But yeah, maybe to like clarify for the listeners. So Sabin, I don't know. I've never actually said his name out loud. I just realized this is a construct that's been existing in my mind, and I've just read on a TV screen.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
But so his base form is now a tank. He's actually a dual tank, which is, I guess, a bit interesting. So he has both magic and physical cover, although his magical cover is much weak, or not much, but it has weaker mitigation than his physical cover. And yes, that's about it, I guess, for his base form.
He has exactly 1 turn of mitigation ability for the whole fight.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's funny because it's 70%, which is less than what Cecil and FaZe have full time uptime on. So I mean, I guess it's fair, right? A bit weird, yes. I guess like,
Yeah.
I mean, so okay, has any one of you actually done some math? Like, how tanky is this dude?
I briefly compared him. He was like worse than the 7-star tanks.
Oh,
I mean, he's
God.
probably
That
tankier
is-
when you're using the Grandis, but that's 1 turn.
So I mean, like, so technically, he's actually better as a 7-star unit to new players than as a tank NVA. Is that like?
Well, I mean, you
At 7-star, he can't tank.
No, but I mean, he's a more useful unit because at 7-star, he's still a damage dealer that might actually get you through some early trials.
I mean, he doesn't lose his damage abilities, and he has slightly higher base attack, so I guess he doesn't
Yeah,
getting
exactly. But
worse if
you're
he's
probably not
NVA,
using him
but
for
yeah.
his NVA kit, right?
Wait,
Or I mean,
why does his magic cover have lower mitigation than his physical cover?
yeah,
It's because they needed to compensate for his higher spirit than defense, obviously.
funny. But yeah, I saw that too. That's what I said. It's actually pretty weird that it has lower mitigation. Maybe they had the same, but then the cover physical is actually a brave ability, so it levels up. So maybe they just didn't account for it, or I don't know, some shit. I don't know. Okay, but let's not talk about his base form. Obviously, he is semi-useless in his base form. He's a tank. He has a lot of spirit. That's about it.
Yeah.
Mostly a lot of HP.
His brave shift is a mage, though.
And a decent one at that, right?
Well, it's not terrible. It's not very good.
You mean it's not? No, I'm not doing that joke.
He's way behind Physalis and Ibarra.
Yeah. But he is around like Soul Aerith, right? That there's there.
If he just uses his light move, which is his best elemental one, you get a bit weaker than Aerith, like 150 versus 170 for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can mix in his elementless limit burst, as long as the enemy doesn't resist elementless, then he rises up to about the level of Soul and Kefka.
The problem there, though, is you're going to have to spark it, and trying to spark a walking LB is problematic.
You don't really need to spark it, as long as it's still fully chaining, because it's like really backloaded and a lot of hits, so it still has a high chain mod, even if neutral's chained.
But I mean, the problem with, and I saw this in the Wiki ratings chat just earlier today or yesterday or some shit, that it seems like more or less half the upcoming trials have pretty high resistance to non-elemental damage. And that's
not just
not
future trials, past ones too. It's something that people don't really notice much because nobody uses non-elemental, but it's very common for bosses to have 50% or more resistance to it, or even just be immune.
Well, I guess...
Yeah, I think when I was checking it, it was like slightly over half from all of the trials, like from the NV release onwards.
I don't know why they do this.
In terms of...
It's not like non-elemental is strong and they need to nerf it.
Well, no, you're wrong, because I actually think that this came along when Terra was fucking shit up. That's like, I mean, like, not 7-star Terra, like 6-star Terra, Trans Terra. Like, I think, right? I think it came along there somewhere. Like, just they were too powerful. I mean, this was...
I feel like...
Remember, this was the era when, like...
Elementless Resist hasn't appeared, like, for a long time after her release.
Yeah.
It's been happening for a while, but not that long.
No, but okay, I might be wrong, because, like, I'm often wrong, but I do have this strong memory that I remember this coming kind of like a reply to Terra, like, fucking over most of the Chamber of Arms bosses, and so this was a long time ago, of course. But I do have this feeling that was... Or I have this memory that I remember reading that, because, like, the first boss this happened for had quite high elemental resistance, or non-elemental. I think it was like 80%.
I think the first time it happened, at least the first time I remember it happening, was Bomb Family.
Was it Bomb? Because Bomb Family kind of makes sense, though, because that was really a trial design.
Bomb Family's entire mechanic was use the right element.
Yeah, exactly. So there I would like... There I get it, right? But, okay. Yeah, I'm probably wrong, though. I'm usually wrong. But anyway... It does mean that, like, his LB is not great, right? It's the same reason for why Terra's amazing move that I would really love to use more in her Brave Shirt form is also useless at most, most times, because it's also a non-elemental.
Yeah.
We need like I was dreaming about this, actually. We need like an area effect that turns all magic into a certain element. Like not adds an element to it like a weapon would, or, but like turns magic into a certain element. That would be so cool. Like a Shiva effect, and then all magic is ice, regardless of its prior element.
Yeah, but if they did that, how would they sell us 7 different mages for Dark Visions?
But they don't, though. They don't really. They don't use the possibilities they have.
They're going to introduce it, and then it's going to be a boss-only effect, and the boss will absorb that element, and that's the only time it'll be seen.
Yeah. Well, okay, I mean... it could be like a Grandis. I don't know. It would just be... Yeah. I mean, it's unfair. Why are physical chainers, who are technically more powerful than mages anyway in most content that's not specifically designed for mages, why can they easily swap elements and fuck around, while like a mage like Taro has a fun and interesting ability in her Brave Shift, can't even use it, right? That's so weird. We need a way to give mages elements. We need. Please, Gumi, listen to me. Do it.
I think that from Gumi's point of view,
resist not exist.
From Gumi's point of view, or I guess Alan's point of view, physical chainers tend to be differentiated by families, whereas mages tend to be differentiated by elements. Because that's why almost every single mage is Chaos Wave Awakened. They can all technically chain with each other, but because they don't match elements, they're not good partners. And it's the same thing with physical units. They might be able to match elements, but they can't match the chaining families necessarily. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think it sucks for Dark Visions, but I think that's one of the ways that Alan wants to make money, so I don't think it's going to change.
I mean, I would understand your argument if Alim and Gumi, actually do the side grade strat where, like they release Aerith, and then they release another mage that's just as powerful, like let's say they release Ibarra, and she's just a dark mage, but does more or less the same damage as Aerith, right? Then I would get it. But that's not how they sell units. They do that, and then they add a modifier of like 5 times to the output, to the damage output. So it's not like,
I mean, yeah, they want to target the people who don't play Dark Visions as well. But by constantly forcing you to have the old, like, even if you know a unit's going to get power crept, you still need it for the element. So.
Yeah. Anyway, Sabin, right?
Yeah.
Sabin?
Yeah.
So he's a mage. I guess the only thing left to say is, as Dream said, Holy is his strongest Chaos Wave Awakened chain. He also has Fire and Wind, but they are AoE and they are actually half as strong. So they have a 35x modifier. So
it's going to be very rare that you use those. Even in Dark Visions, the fact that they're AoE is going to screw you over a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, that modifier is like pretty bad by 7-star standards even.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah. But I mean,
for a unit with a physical stat baseline, his magic does get like surprisingly high thanks to that like flat 1000.
Mm-hmm.
Though having to half of it being on a trust ability is dumb and sucks.
I think the only real reason for those abilities is if it's a boss where you have to hit it with a certain element for some reason, like Asura.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, that's true. I'm actually I think I get it, because like he has an AoE ability, and that's nice, because you can actually take him to Antonella. He's just going to do like very low damage, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. You might, if you don't have Aerith, you might bring Sabin to a DV fight that's a magic stage with that's light weak. You might, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more to say about Sabin. He's not useless, but not great.
Yeah. So thing is, let's move on to the unit that I'm really sad about not having as many copies as Sabin, because I had 9 Sabins, and I have only 3 Edgars. And why am I sad about that, Muspel?
Because Edgar is Tifa stapled to another Tifa.
Oof, now you're giving me images in my head. Please explain.
God damn it.
He bursts nearly twice as hard as her. To be fair, in practice, in Dark Visions, it's going to be a little bit less, unless you can go to like turn 5, because that's with his LB setup. But it's still pretty high damage, and going to be higher than Tifa. And he's got some killer buffs, which you could have Zon copy. I think he
also has an AoE killer buff
buffs in the game.
And it has an AoE Machina buff. It's not super high, but it's 100%. One thing you should mention, Muspel, is maybe that, so he only has his burst in his Brave Shift. And it's a jump, which is quite interesting.
Yes, Brave Shift becomes a Dragoon.
It's a 2-turn jump.
I think.
And I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Although, I'm going to say, the first time I played Final Fantasy VI, I actually had Dragoon boots on my Locke. And he was the jumper. So that's a thing that happened. Yes. Yep. Anyway.
All changes.
No, but one good thing about jumpers.
So his jump.
Yeah, one good thing about it being a jump, I'm going to say, for DV is because, of course, jump gear, like you can gear someone for jump and have really good gearing, and then have someone else geared for non-jump and have really good gearing. So they don't share gear as much. That's nice.
if you're trying to go for the big turn 5 burst, though, I think it's actually not going to work out well in Dark Visions. A lot of the times, from what I've seen, those kinds of strats will, like, you'll have Zon copy buffs and then hide and dispel your team to get rid of the imperils, and then Zon will come back and share them. But since Edgar needs to spend 2 turns in the air, you'll have to share the buffs onto him earlier, so you can't do that hide and reshare buffs trick. So you'll have to just gear your whole team.
It depends
to go
how
through the
often you
imperil.
need to.
It very much depends.
The spell or
Sometimes there are just these, because he doesn't get imperiled when he's in the air anyway, and sometimes like
he
the
doesn't,
strat is
but the rest of your team would.
Yeah, but there like in the last DV there were just a couple of these fights where you could go on endlessly if you could just dispel your team every third turn, and then it's
Yeah,
really
but
not
that's
a
my
problem.
point. If you're dispelling your team, then they're losing the killers that you shared to Edgar, because you have to, like, normally you share them and then you kill the next turn. Here you have to share them and then Edgar jumps, and then you have to wait another turn and then he lands, and that, depending on the timing of the imperils, that could present issues.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. This could be a complex setup. It could be a complex setup because it's also 2 turns in the air, which, although 2 turns might actually make it a bit easier than. Yeah, okay, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and because his setup does take a bit because he also wants to use that Brave Shift Limit Burst for the mod boost for it and the Spear Imperil. But it's neat that he can apply that because that'll help some other units as well potentially.
Exactly, that's a good thing. I mean, like some units can equip spears, and 25% is no joke.
And even if he's not doing the limit burst beforehand, he still bursts harder than Tifa. People should just keep in mind that unless you're able to do that full setup, which can be really clunky and not necessarily realistic on some fights, he won't be as strong as he looks on the spreadsheets.
Yeah. But he's still an amazing unit. He's like, if you actually have an NVA of him, he's a very strong burster, and I think a lot of people will be happy to have him for DV. And that's why I'm sad. I actually, like, I don't have him, so I'm still gonna have to stick to using, like, Riku and Tifa and Cloud, I guess, are my strongest physical bursters. Well, Kairi too, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's really strong. I mean, the thing... Okay, so all the units I just mentioned, I just realized, as saying them, they are all LB bursters. Meaning that, I'm going to have shit gear on the 3rd unit I'm gearing. Which is why it's so nice to have a jumper, because jumper needs jump gear, so...
Yeah. Do we want to move on
So
to
yeah,
Locke, or...
Well, just with his like durations and things and the jump time, it can be quite difficult for him to like actually make use of his own killer buffs without like spreading them to extend duration, which can be a bit annoying. But he can, for DV, kind of compress your breaks in as well, because the 4-turn break lasts just long enough to be able to like break plus use the cooldown to fill his limit burst, then shift, limit, and then jump, and you can't maintain full uptime on attack and magic that way with trials, but the defense and spirit will last just long enough for him to land while they're still up.
Oh,
so that could be nice compression.
And thank you for mentioning breaks, because one thing that's good about his base form is that, first of all, he has a Spear Imperil and a break, and he's also a support chaining breaker. So he's kind of like a really weak Riku or Lauren, where he has like a pretty weak mod on a Stardust Ray ability, but it has a 4-turn 80% full break attached to it, which is very nice. It's single target, but it's still very nice.
Yeah. I think Edgar is another one of those NVA units where if you don't care about Dark Visions, he's not going to do that much for you, but he is a viable breaker, especially at NVA. So if you have enough copies and you're looking for a breaker, think about using him. But in that respect, I think he's just a straight downgrade from like Lauren or whatever.
Yeah.
His main claim to fame is topping that physical burst chart.
All right, so maybe we should...
Which is a pretty good claim to fame, to be fair.
It is. I mean, he is, like, for DV, he is still fantastic. So, congratulations to everyone that have 7 Edgars. So,
and that leaves us with the last unit, Locke.
Yeah, Locke, who kind of looks the same in the game. Like, the sprite is not very different. What does he do this time? Like, is he, again, a full breaker and a Mirage bot?
He lost his Mirage, unfortunately, but he is still a breaker water chainer, and then in his shift form he swaps out water for fire. And so yeah, he's just sort of the next iteration of the whole damage breaker thing that like Riku and Onion Knight and things do, and he's pretty underwhelming.
He's
my opinion.
clunkier at the combining breaks and damage thing than other units, because he only has the breaks in his base form. He can switch back and forth, but if it's a fight where you want to re-break a lot because of dispels or buffs or whatever, it's going to be not a good idea to try to make him your damage dealer. The big thing to keep that makes him stand out is that he has 90% attack and magic breaks on his base form limit burst, but they only last 2 turns.
And it requires enough crysts to be, to be difficult to fill, because it's like 42 or something, right? Yeah. So it's not going to be easy to spam that every second turn.
Yeah, it is doable, because there's some enemy units that can do some big LB fill these days, but you're going to work at it if you want to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like the 90% breaks are kind of just like bait for him, basically, and actually aren't that impactful.
Yeah.
It was just to get people to say, like, ooh, new highest break numbers, better pull
There
for
are
him.
some trials in JP that they started to release that don't have stat passives, so for those, the difference between 85% and 90% breaks is pretty massive. I don't even remember how much but it's a really big reduction in incoming damage. But we don't know yet, like, how much of a trend that's going to be, because I think it's only 2 trials at this point that did that.
I think there's 3, but like it only actually matters for one of them, and that's Bahamut.
I looked. I saw 3, but one of them was immune to attack and magic break, so it didn't matter there.
Oh, okay.
I could have missed one though.
Been.
But I really have a feeling, because they even put the provoke in his kit. I was gonna say taunt, but then I realized it's called provoke. So I really have and he has a lot of base evasion, so I really have this feeling that they kind of also were hoping to do him as a, breaker. I don't even want to call him a support chainer, because he actually does good damage, right? What is he compared to?
His damage is like about the same level as Riku and Onion Knight, but that involves using his like Brave Shift limit burst for chaining quite a lot, which is unique frames.
Okay. Yeah, but what I want to say is, like, it's still decent. It's good damage.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And then, so they're kind of, like, it's the same level of compression as Riku, but you can probably build him quite high if you do a evasion provoke build for him, too. Because his active provoke is, like, 4 turns, I think? Yes, it's 4 turns. So, like, you can still do serious damage while having a provoke tank breaker in one unit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he also has, his SCMR also has 100% bird killer on it, which is pretty neat. But it's a throwing weapon, which means very few units can use it.
Put it on Yoshi. Man, I'm so sad Yoshi didn't become more of a thing. He's still a fantastic unit for DV, but his damage, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm talking about Yoshi when
I don't know why you're complaining, Bharos. His damage is even more meta than the recently buffed Dragon Quest units, and Gumi told us directly that they're relevant now, right?
Yeah, and they even buffed, hey, Gumi, holy shit, they are heroes, because they even buffed the second wave Dragon Quest units that they didn't even promise they were going to buff, and they still buffed them to great levels.
Yeah, Eric and the other units that nobody pulled for and nobody cares about are now just as useless as they were last week.
Yeah.
Possibly the best thing about the Dragon Quest buffs, and this is a real stretch, is because we got some free pulls. If you got a Jade and got her TMR, it now has no conditionals to activate 60% attack.
Oof.
That's the real upgrade.
That's the real upgrade.
Yeah, there's so few ways to get 60% attack from materia these days.
Exactly.
But
Sylvando did get minor upgrades, and Sylvando isn't completely useless, but he's far from great these days.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing as like Serena is a support, so she was decent, and so Sylvando was already decent before, right? So it's like,
yeah. You also can now technically use Horde of Shadows as your breaker, and you won't completely negate all the damage you deal, just half of it.
Right. So yeah, I'm sad to say that this Final Fantasy VI banner is a bit underwhelming. I have a feeling like Edgar, for DV players, Edgar is a true prize of the banner. Locke, yeah, he's nice. I mean, if you didn't have Riku, he's nice.
He's fine.
I mean, he can't burst as hard as Riku can with his, like, with LB burst, but yeah, I don't know. It's a bit sad. They should have done Locke better. You know, I remember Final Fantasy VI. I remember Locke being one of the deeper characters in the game because, you know, he starts off the game. For those of you that haven't played it, prepare for massive spoilers. So, you know, turn off the pod now or just fucking don't because the game is 30 years old. And so he starts off the game by being like overly protective of all girls in the game. Like he starts off by helping Terra off the bat, like zero conviction need or zero persuasion needed for him to help Terra. And then later on, as he meets Celeste and saves her from torture, he's kind of immediately says this super cringe. He has this super cringe moment where he goes like, "Listen, I'll protect you." And Celeste is like, "Dude, who the fuck are you?" And, you know, later on, it turns out that he has this deeply rooted reason in the game for why he's actually being so protective. And I really liked him as a character. I really liked how you get him back in the world of Ruin. And, like, it hurts me that he's so underwhelming.
Well, I'm glad there's at least one person that likes Final Fantasy VI on the podcast, because I know Cotton was saying that she was really disappointed with the way that the game turned out.
Yeah.
She's never been a big fan of the cast or the plot.
Yeah, I know. And I was really disappointed to hear that coming from Cotton, although I always knew that she didn't like Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, I guess she's a big fan of Umaro because he looks a little bit like a Chow Chow with all that hair everywhere. But
yeah.
Locke was just really not a character she was interested in.
Yeah. I like in the Discord chat the other day, she said like Terra is poop, and then she posted a picture of poop.
I think she was like actively mad about pulling Terra on the first 5K.
Yeah, because she was hoping it was Aerith, which is from her favorite number game.
I mean, ever since she failed to get Cloud on the Kingdom Hearts banner because of the bugged rates, she's just been pulling on all the other banners trying to get original 5-star Cloud.
Right. And I mean, like, I get it, Cotton. Like, we know you like Final Fantasy 12, you like Final Fantasy 8. It's, you know, but you don't have to be so mean to us that actually like Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, I just don't get all this Final Fantasy elitism coming from her, where she's always talking about how amazing 11 and 12 are, but she doesn't give any credit to Final Fantasy 6. It's the true Final Fantasy 6 fans like me and Dream that are holding it down the fort.
True. And yeah, I'm happy to be in such cultured and good company, and I'm happy Cotton isn't here to, you know, ruin it talking about how Vaughn's 6-pack is great, or, you know. Oh wait, I was thinking of Shadow, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure Cotton would say the same thing.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we didn't even get a trial this week, and you know how I know that? Ask me how I know that.
How do you know that?
So I was looking at the wiki page to see if there was a new trial that came out, and I was like, oh wow, there is a new trial, I should kill this. It's the Scorn of the White Dragon. And then I clicked on the page, and I opened it, and I'm like, wait, but I have this sword. How do I have this katana if I haven't played this trial? And then I realized, oh yeah, this is one of those trials that you like just face rolled on day one, and it's like so unmemorable. Funny. So yeah, no new trials this week.
Yeah.
Did we get anything challenging this week? We didn't, right?
No, it was just event content.
Yeah, because like the exploration boss was pretty weak. And the blue dragon thing that we get daily is also pretty weak. So nothing really to fight, right?
Yeah, I think the sort of toughest thing, like, in recent time is still, like, the Ultros and Typhon fight, which is very not tough.
Yeah. Hey, so who is excited about next week and also getting DV rewards?
I did not get rank 1 this time, I won't get that much. I think, like...
Yeah, neither.
I think I was like 1100 or something.
I was like 2,995. So
I just checked
1,700. 2,300.
But I mean, like, you know, hey, so finally, wait, when are we gonna get to use these fucking keys? That's actually next month, or is that like?
I think
it should
next
be.
month.
Yeah, it should be at the start of next month.
Right. So the keys are next month, and you know the news say that you get like 1,000 event points, and we don't know what these event points are for. So I guess like we're gonna see. Okay, but we do get DV rewards. We do get DV rewards next week with the Christmas banner. So any wild speculation on what you think it's going to be?
I'm gonna do some windmill slam wild guesses. I think that Christine will get an NVA because of the bug,
Wow.
and I
Big
think that her
surprise.
brave shift will be a mage LB finisher, and her LB will either be 3 hits that are spaced too close together, or it'll be like 30 hits with impossible to finish frames. I think that the other NVA, will be White Knight Noel, and he will get in his base form a Chaos Wave Awakened frame move that is both wind and ice, and he will get dual cast for abilities, but not triple cast, because why would you give him that? And then his Brave Shift will be a spirit-based mage, and his only chaining move will be a ice and wind Chaos Wave, not Chaos Wave Awakened frame move.
Listen, so I know
Interesting
you are
choice.
the Alim spy, because this sounds eerily accurate. Like, this sounds like something I would see on this banner. Wow, Muspel, not bad. Not bad.
No, to me it sounds like something that would be on a JP banner.
But I mean, okay, so Christine is quite a, or you could
Christine's
say
pretty-
she's probably
shoe-in.
it, because there was this leak where she was accidentally shardable.
In all honesty, though, I do think that there's really only a few ways that her Brave Shift could go. She's either going to be an LB finisher, or she's going to be a buffer. Like,
Well,
'cause
yeah, exactly.
I don't think they can go for a chainer of a different element because it's ice. I don't really see any alternatives there.
Oh yeah, and then Sabin
just
came in
more
and
ice chain.
suplexed that, because like she could technically be a physical chainer, like easy in her Brave Shift, because you know what happens in her Brave. Oh my God, Alim, I hope you're listening to this, because this is what you're gonna do. In Christine's Brave Shift, the bear becomes huge, and he is
I
the
don't
one
like
that you
where this is
actually
going.
use. And he is the physical chainer, okay? That's the Brave Shift for Christine. She shifts into the bear being a physical chainer. Boom. I just sold you like 5 million
We'll
bundles.
see.
I'm sure that they'll develop and release
I
that
think
in
it's a bit late,
like 5
yeah.
days before the banner comes out.
Yeah, yeah. But that would be a cute idea though, because the bear becomes pretty big when she LBs, right? So there's like there's kind of a
Yeah,
sprite for
I
him.
think there's a realistic possibility that that's the case. Maybe not physical chainer, but it could involve like large bear.
So Kryla was the other unit on Christine's original banner, right? So I guess like if you're
Yes.
if you're kind of a betting man and thinking that they might be doing units from the same banner, then technically it should be Kryla, which is quite interesting, right? Kryla could be a very interesting NBA.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be Kryla because, like, there was the whole thing of with Halloween there was Sakura from year 2, and then what's his name from year 3? I don't even remember.
Oh,
He's
okay,
irrelevant.
yeah, they did do that.
But-
Lucius.
And people think like, oh, so this time it'll be Christine and then one from year 3, like Felix, especially with the Prism thing. But I don't buy that because Prism's like, A, that has nothing to do with the NVA process, unlike the shards with Christine. And also, for Halloween, they only had one year 2 unit to use, whereas this time there is actually a pair.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
what
I
they
don't know.
actually should do, though, is Felix and Tiana, because they skipped their enhancements last year, and they really deserve something. Like, I don't like those units, but
I
they
reckon
deserve
they'll
something.
get enhancements this
Yeah.
year. I reckon they'll get their enhancements, and they still won't be that relevant, but they'll be enhanced. And then next year they might get
Although to be
NVAs.
honest, I do get why you would do like one unit from each year as an NVA. That does make a bit of sense. That made me, yeah, okay. I mean, like, I don't really have a huge stake in this because I only have Christine as a 7-star Christmas unit. I literally I have 0 Kryla. I never got her when you could. I have what the fuck is the latest Christmas tank called? The robot.
Lucas.
Lucas, right? Muspel's favorite unit.
Such a non-robot name.
So, and I do have 1 Felix. So that's kind of like 1 6-star Felix. So I don't really like, whatever they do, I will not be able to get it unless it's like a 30% rainbow chance shenanigans banner again.
Okay, but do you think our NV
I mean, you've
base
got
unit
Christine.
will be CG Santa Claus?
I mean, wait, did we get an
Possibly.
NV base unit when we had Halloween?
Ibarra.
We didn't, right? Oh, yeah,
Ibarra.
shit, Ibarra. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm trying to suppress her. Yeah, that's very interesting. So, yeah, we could do like a Father Christmas, like a dark Father Christmas envy base. That would be, hey, that sounds actually cool.
I mean, it would check out because, like, especially if he does, I reckon he's might be a hybrid damage dealer because, like, AGL has to completely carry that now because JP is just not doing them anymore. And also for the last 2 Christmases, we have gotten Felix and then Levinson, who are both hybrid damage dealers.
Or they reuse Santa Rosalia sprite and we get a Santa Rosalia envy base.
We got her as a 4-star though.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get the GP.
I think before JP.
But I mean, who wouldn't want to be sodomized by like a dominant Santa?
Pretty much everyone.
Literally
Yeah, right.
everyone.
Pretty much everyone would want to do that, right?
No, everyone would not want to do that.
No.
Really? Like,
You are very much in the minority here, Bharos.
I mean, Santa, he's so... Yeah,
But,
okay,
but
never mind.
what role would he be? What role would Santa be? Buffer?
I think he would
gives
be
out
like
gifts?
okay. Oh, sorry. Role in the game.
Oh, God.
So I am thinking Santa would be kind of like Aiden on crack. So like a bad healer, but with some utility.
I think he's either a buffer or a tank.
Really? Okay, no. So I'm just kidding about Aiden. I actually think like he could be like an Aiden type unit where he is a healer, but maybe not straight out where he has Karaja, but some other ways of really healing your team well. And then a ton of other support abilities.
I would probably see him as a buffer that specializes in like really strong single target buffs, like giving people specific gifts.
Oh.
I mean, instead of a new one, could we just get, like, Christmas Ayaka?
No, wait. Hold on. Santa is obviously a damage over time dealer. Obviously. He's like the next Kaido.
Ah, right. For the slow damage he's done to the economy.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess like we're all out of ideas. We're all out of speculation. But I am excited about next week.
Christmas. Yeah, I mean, and this should go up like a day before the banner news as well, so you listeners will have much less time to wait.
Yeah, exactly. By the time
now.
you're listening to this podcast, you only have just a couple of hours until you're actually going to know what's going to hit us in the groin and what's going to drain our lapis. Joke's on you, Gumi. I have 0 lapis. All right. Well, I guess that's this for this week.
All right, next week I guess we'll have a
Okay,
lower
we're done
concentration of Final Fantasy VI fans, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that's life. Not everyone likes that game, I guess. Especially not Cotton and Shadow. Well, Shadow definitely. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Have a beautiful... Hey, shit. We need to wish our listeners, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I don't know what the fuck the politically
that'll
correct...
be before next
Wait,
episode.
What?
I was thinking like next episode will go up before Christmas, but actually it's like 5 days away from when we're recording.
What do you... I mean, like, Christmas is on... Christmas Day is on Saturday, right?
It's Friday.
Oh, it's Friday. It's Friday? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we won't even record the next episode before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So we need to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever the fuck you celebrate, right? Hey, let's do it on 3. I'm going to count us down, and then we say Merry Christmas at the same time. And then I'm going to try to sync it, because it'll be...
I feel like there's something bad is
Yeah,
going to happen here.
I'm just gonna say happy holidays, and then we can call it the end of the episode because I'm afraid of what Bharos will do. So have a great week, everyone. Have happy holidays, and remember that Final Fantasy VI is good no matter what Cotton tells you.
Yeah, Cotton, stop hating.
Merry holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. And Cotton, you need to stop hating.
We're in so much trouble if she ever listens to this episode.
We'll see you next week.